Hello, my name is Matthew Young, and in this video I'll be going over sample 1 of the malware project. So, sample 1 consists of two files inside the zip. There is a text file called readme, and what appears to be a PDF called budget report. Now the text file readme just basically says that this is live malware and to handle with care. And budget report appears to be a file with a PDF style icon with a hidden file extension inside a file explorer. Using the command prompt and going to the directory, we can actually see the extension is a .exe file, so this is an executable. First, I'm going to cover the static analysis and then local dynamic analysis in my Windows VM, and then confirm these findings using an online sandbox. So to start the static, we'll be looking at PEID. So I've gone ahead and loaded it into PEID. An important thing to note here is PEID does not show evidence of packing for this sample. You can see here nothing's been found. So the static analysis should be more informative compared to a packed binary. Next we use PEView, and we're going to be looking at the imports mainly for this one. So if we start with the directory table, we can see a list of all these Windows libraries. These include kernel 32, ADVAPI 32, user 32, WinnyNet, WS232, and shell 32. Now, kernel 32 and MSVCRT indicate core OS and runtime functions. ADVAPI 32 suggests registry and security related APIs, which could suggest possible persistence or privilege related actions. And finally, there's WinnyNet and WS232, and these are potential network communication capabilities of the malware. And it's important to note as well that in the name table and the address table, you can see some functions here associated with certain DLLs. And I observed file manipulation APIs such as create file A or write file, which is down here. And then there's also registry related APIs like reg create key XA, which is up here under ADV API 32. A lot of registry functions. And these align with the theory of persistence through registry modification. And finally, this adjust token privileges may indicate a privilege escalation. So in addition to this, we can also take a look at the .r data section and look at the strings value over here. And from this, we can kind of see some HTTP related content and script extensions such as .bat and .vbs and .scr, which suggests the malware may execute secondary payloads or drop scripts. Registry related strings referencing current control set also support persistence capability. I'll go into this more in depth on the document report. So now that we go through the static analysis, we can begin dynamic. And for dynamic, we shall be using 4 programs. First is Wireshark. Then we're going to use RedShot. And I'm going to go ahead and take the first shot so I don't forget it. We will also be using Process Monitor and Process Explorer for this. So in Process Monitor, first I'm going to go ahead and filter for budget port.exe. So that should clear up all the other background noise. And we are also going to start a capture session on Wireshark for network monitoring. And now that we have all this set up, we can finally run the malware. So I'll go ahead and begin that now. Okay, so as you can see, when executed, the sample quickly produces an error message and then disappears. And this could be related to a self-deletion or anti-forensic behavior. This is the error message right here. We click close, and we can see that the executable is gone from the file. And you might have caught it for a quick second that there was a process that appeared. It's very quick and kind of hard to catch, but I did manage to catch it here this time. Next, we'll move into process monitor. Excuse me. Basically, process monitor has managed to capture thread creation, DLL loading, extensive file system queries, and register queries. Now, the volume of the file system and the registry activity suggests that the malware is searching for the host environment, and is potentially staging files or setting up configurations. And we can see that here, a lot of like register, query actions, a lot of file manipulation actions, especially as you go further down. There's just a lot of them here. Some of them are not finding a name not found. So it makes me think that possibly that this malware is not designed for Windows XP and designed for a more up-to-date Windows environment. Either way, it seems to successfully close itself. Now we can see the process monitor. Or sorry, not process monitor. We can take our second shot of red shot. We can compare and see that 7 values were added, 17 values were modified, in total 24 changes. So red shot here identified registry changes, such as the values that were added and modified. A suspicious change here is the creation of a new registry key with a numeric name. It's under software. Right here. Oh, actually, it's right here. Yeah, right here, I think. It's listed in my report. I can't find it right now, but it is listed in the report. But that is a suspicious registry key that Red Shot captured. Now, Wireshark here is pretty interesting. Wireshark showed a lot of network traffic between the VM host and external IP upon the execution of the file, which indicates that there is network activity that comes from it. However, it's hard to see if this is related because there's a lot of like server failures happening, which may suggest that either the malware is not designed for this system, or the server is trying to reach out to is just doesn't exist anymore. And then finally, we will look at the online sandbox, which I used a hybrid analysis for. So to confirm some of the behavior and get deeper visibility, I submitted the sample to hybrid analysis, which provides automated behavioral reporting and MITRE attack mappings. So the threat score is 100 out of 100. This is definitely a malicious file, and has been labeled as something called Jake Generic. But there's also other labels such as Trojan. So it's a Trojan of some sort. So the thing of note here is the incident response report. So basically the sandbox observed that there were persistence, remote access, fingerprinting, spyware, evasion, and spreading and network capabilities. We can see here that there was a DNS request as well as 2 listed hosts that it tries to contact. However, I did not see any of these in the Wireshark findings, or Wireshark results, which makes me think that, well, actually, no, right here, actually, there is to that domain listed on the report here, but I think it's just not operational anymore because it's failing to reach it. But in conclusion, the online sandbox helps confirm many of the findings of the local VM analysis. These include registry persistence activity, suspicious process behavior, and indications of network capability. The sandbox here definitely provides a lot more. It provides a clear evidence of privilege manipulation and evasion techniques that were difficult to fully capture manually. But all this to say that this supports the classification of this sample as a Trojan with some persistence and reconnaissance behavior. This concludes the video report for malware sample 1.